Let's consider this scenario. Somebody buys a ship, he puts a bunch of people on it, and then he starts driving this ship straight into an iceberg, which would completely destroy everything, and there's no benefit. And you go up to the person driving the ship and you say, why are you doing this? Can we change course because this is a very bad thing? And the ship captain looks at you and says, no, I will though hear you out. And so I say, if we go into the iceberg, we're all dead. And he says, I will not comply unless you tie yourself to the mast. Under those circumstances, I then will turn the ship around, and there will be no problems. Think about that scenario. So should I tie myself to the mast to save the ship? I could jump ship right now, there's no problem. But I could try and save the ship anyway. What would you do? And that's sort of the circumstance that I've been put into. Yo, it's poppin', gamers! WQ here, and some things happened in the A Link in the Past, no major glitches tournament recently. I'm gonna go over, there was some drama, and this tournament, it's only getting worse, and it seems to be ran very poorly. So guys, if you don't know who I am in this A Link in the Past tournament, and I have the second best time in this game by a pretty good margin. And Zelda's not in the tournament, so I'm actually the best player in the tournament. I'm favored to win it, and it's kind of a big deal. And not only that, I'm really the only interesting person in the whole tournament. And so I joined this tournament, and then I actually scheduled a race with a guy named Arifram, and we scheduled it at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. And then what happened, I'm about to go over because some things happen, and this gets a little ridiculous. It gets a little extreme. So this is a conversation we had, and there's a big problem here. We just said 6 p.m. We actually live on different coasts. I live on the West Coast. He lives on the East Coast. I thought it was at 6 p.m. on the West Coast. He scheduled it for 6 p.m. on the East Coast. So at 6 p.m. I showed up for the race, and lo and behold, it happened 3 hours before, and I'm like, well, that sucks. Whatever, I'm sure I can get it rescheduled. And then an hour later in my Discord, somebody said to me, hey, you have a loss. And I'm like, why do I have a loss? And so I started trying to message and contact people, and I really couldn't contact anybody. And I'm like, why am I randomly given a loss for a tournament that was, I mean, quite clearly not only misscheduled, but this is a very common scheduling error. Plus, we have until the 25th of May, or of April, to do these races. So we have another pretty much 3 weeks to do these races. Not a big deal. So I figured, let's just reschedule the race. Like, what's the problem? So I go onto the Discord. This is 12, 20, maybe 20 hours after the race was supposed to happen. And I say, what's up? Why did I receive a loss for this race? I think it's a little unfair. And then Rezi actually is in my pool, says, yeah, it seems a little strict, seems a little silly. I mean, it was a pretty common error. Like, it was both of our faults. Like, it's not like Arifram said, okay, it's 6 p.m. EST, and then I showed up at 6 p.m. PST, and was, you know, no, it was like honestly a common error. And then, yeah, it seems a little strict. And then Scrivo, and this is where this really goes downhill. If you don't know who Scrivo is, he was best friends with Downtime Death as Downtime Death was splicing runs, and then that's when he met him day one, and then the whole way through up until 2018. Yeah, really, really great guy. Seems like you already know what to expect. Basically, yeah, this guy has a history of lying and deceit, and we're going to go into a lot of what happens here. So Scrivo says we're already discussing it with him, which is a lie. He already starts this conversation with a flat-out lie, and I think this stuff's kind of lame because Rezi, who is a third party, has no idea what's going on here, and he says, okay, sure, great. I was never contacted. I was never discussed. I have no idea what's going on here. I said that clearly. Nobody's contacting me. I don't know what's going on. I was given a loss in a game, in a match that I think it's a little unfair. I think it's a little silly. Plus, that loss actually might impact the pools significantly, and pretty much destroy, hurt the entire tournament overall. And then Scrivo claims that I'm in the discussion channel, problem solved. And then he claims that he messaged me. And then he claims that I blocked him on Twitter, and because I blocked him on Twitter, it's my fault that they can't contact me. It's my fault they can't contact me because I blocked him on Twitter, which, again, this is a little ridiculous. It's a little extreme, and it just gets worse because I didn't know I was added to this discussion channel. And you can see on the left, yes, I was actually added to this discussion channel. So I click on the discussion channel, and you can see they tried messaging me. Now, this is funny because I actually screenshotted it. This is all that I saw. I was in the discussion channel, and it said, I don't have permission to view the message history. So I'm just in a channel. Then they claimed that they are talking about it with me, and they've tried to contact me, but it's my fault because I blocked Scrivo, because Scrivo is best friends with a guy who Splice runs in A Link to the Past, the very game there's a tournament for 6 months. Scrivo was defending him the whole way through, and then Scrivo actually covered up evidence for downtime death. So I blocked Scrivo because he's compliant, he's complicit with a Splicer, and then he criticizes and blames me. And then he adds me to this discussion channel, which I can't see anything in it. And then they claim that they are in fact talking to me. I mean, this is a pretty bold lie on their end, and it only gets worse from here out. So next up, you have Greenham, who's actually made personal attacks against me before in this tournament as an admin, and he carrots the previous discussion. So this is what I'm looking at. For about 10 minutes, I'm literally looking at Greenham carroting and tagging me, nothing, just an empty channel. This goes on for about 10 minutes. I'm just staring at it. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Like, are you guys, what really is going on here? So yeah, eventually get into this discussion, and Scrivo says, yeah, sure. I'm hoping we can have an amicable discussion here, which is just a lie. This guy absolutely hates me. He's tried to DQ me 3 times before this in this tournament. One time they removed my PB from the speedrun.com leaderboards, and then they said I need a PB on the speedrun.com leaderboards, and I had to submit a PB. I'm like, you guys removed my PB from the leaderboards, and I don't even submit times to leaderboards because you guys have put cheaters on that leaderboards in the past. I don't associate with that. I never will associate with that. And that they tried to DQ me for that, even though it's everybody knows what my PB is. It's very obvious what my PB is. And I would easily be first seed. Like, it's kind of silly. So he says, why didn't you look at the tournament race and verify the time? And then also, why did you wait 24 hours to contact people? That's what he says. This is what Scrivo says as an attack on me. I guess he's claiming that I made this up. I really did sleep through, or I was busy, or I messed up somehow due to my own fault. And then what happened was I'm being dishonest. That's what Scrivo is claiming. And I don't know why he's... Honestly, I don't know why he's asking these questions. I literally told him it's a simple error in scheduling. Like, it's not a big deal. Let's just reschedule the race. And then he says, please answer the questions. And this is a tactic you see from Scrivo quite considerably, where he'll ask pretty silly off-topic questions, and then he will stonewall any kind of conversation from there, and he only will respond to these questions. And you will see that later. And it's a little unfair. It's a little silly, too, because these questions are not really relevant to the topic. Scrivo himself said, can we find an open and amicable discussion, and then immediately closes off the discussion. Seems a little unfair, right? And then actually the truth is, I did answer the questions. I actually did answer the questions, like it was an error. Why didn't I double check the schedule, guys? It was an error. It was legitimately a mistake on both of our ends. Oops. You know, it's really not a big deal. This is day 1 pools a month before the deadline. Like, it's not a big deal at all. And then, why did you wait 24 hours to contact anyone? No, actually not true. That's also not true. I contacted several people at 6 p.m., and then I waited for a response all through the night. I stayed up all night. I never got a response. I finally then went to this Discord and started tagging people, started complaining, and then Rezi actually said, yeah, this is silly. And then Scrivo responded to Rezi, so they never even really responded to me. Their idea of a response is adding me to this Discord, and then I can't see anything, and then claiming they discussing with me. It's just a lie. It's just deception. Scrivo basically just doesn't say anything. You were aware earlier today, 16 hours ago, like who cares? A few things. Why is this a big deal? I still don't know why this is a big deal. I want to start the idea that I don't want you in the tournament. This is the problem here. I do not care about personal things, and I don't think this is relevant to the topic. I simply want the match to be rescheduled. I think everybody would be open to that. I actually think Aerofram, and I actually talked to him. He said, yeah, let's reschedule the race. He's open to it. I'm open to it. I think every audience member. I mean, it's a for-fun tournament. There's no money involved. It's not a big deal. It's a for-fun tournament. I think rescheduling the race is totally okay. Suddenly, we get into personal things. Now Scrivo is doing this weird thing where he says, gosh dang it, you're good at the game, and people like watching you. Now he is getting manipulative. Now he's becoming deception. This is where I cross the line. I do not like this person. He was best friends with a guy who made a name for himself for lying about everything and cheating in A Link to the Past for cold for 3 months. And then he made an alt account for 3 months after. That whole time, Scrivo was his diehard best friend the whole way through. The whole way through. And that's not something I go near. Why was Scrivo best friends with Downtime Death? They think the same. He likes lying. He likes cheating. He wants to be a manipulator. He wants to do it, and it's like it's not really something for me. And then it just gets worse, guys. This conversation, it just gets worse. And this is the problem here. I said I don't want to talk about your personal feelings. They're not relevant here. I just want to reschedule this race. So Scrivo then says we're going to talk more. Again, this is not an open, amicable conversation. This is a terrible conversation, and Scrivo is clearly making himself look like a terrible person. And then he says, I would like to know whether or not I can ask you to do a few things. And he actually just says straight up, if you don't do these, you're out. You're 100% out. We're not rescheduling the race. He actually is not going to DQ me. He says, we'll reschedule the race only if you do these. If you don't do these, we won't reschedule the race. This is nonsense. And this is actually a big problem because think about it, guys. It's not my tournament. It's their tournament. It's not my tournament. And if I'm not in the race, their tournament looks a lot worse. I want to be in the tournament because I actually like A Link to the Past. It's really good for Link to the Past. It's going to be good for the viewers. It's going to be good for the tournament. Nobody good in this tournament. Nobody else in plays Link to the Past is good who's in this tournament. So it's like, without me in the tournament, it's not notable for anything. And it's like, you know what? I'll play the game. Like, it's good. I can do it. And actually, I straight up did call him a psycho. And I called Greenham a psycho because I think both of them are very deceptive, very manipulative people. And I've had no good interactions with either one of these people. And this was another very bad interaction. But yeah, he definitely does not say, help work with me on this one. And I'm trying to work with, here's the thing. Let's look at these conditions. One, I will do all the race scheduling via my Discord channel. I mean, whatever, that's fine. And actually, I am talking to El Minister and Aerofram on Discord, so it's not a big deal. And number two, you personally will put all your own matches in the scheduling system. Actually, again, that's not a huge problem. Like, that's actually totally fine. Yeah, that seems reasonable. And then number three, you will check in 1 hour in advance of your races. Okay, this is where I don't want to do this. This is a little crossing the line. Here's the big problem here. I'm going all the way to the finals, and I don't want to check in an hour for every single race. I have 3 pools matches, and then I think I have 8 bracket matches. Why do I, out of every racer, have to check in early and with 2 people I very much detest and that very much detest me? Greenham and Scrivo do not like me. They absolutely do not like me. I absolutely do not like them. I don't think they have any sanity, any merit at all. I think they are very deceitful people, and I've seen very bad things come out of them. So yeah, I mean I don't even like Mishrak, but I opted, hey, why not Mishrak? Why not why not Carcat? Why not Feasel? Why not Feasel? I get along with Feasel. Me and Feasel get along. I think he's an alright guy. Nope. Who else is an admin? No response. Those are the only conditions. I have to do or die. Why? That doesn't make sense. Feasel's an admin. Feasel's not attorney admin. Like, whatever. He has admin right. So what is attorney admin 2? And I want a clarity on this. So yeah, if you go to the challenge, it says admins, Greenham, Feasel, JC, Parisian player. Okay, well, Feasel, I guess, is not an admin. I don't know. Is JC an admin? I don't know. It's Parisian player. Are they? Why don't they work? Why do I have to be Greenham or Scrivo? Like, I think these are bad people. I don't want to talk with them. And there's no reason. There's really no reason. That's another thing. So a lot of people are saying, well, why not check in? I mean, what's the big deal? Why would I check in? There was never established. That was never established. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. I mean, this was a simple rescheduling error. And I actually opted. I actually was trying. See, that's another problem. I actually was trying to come to an agreement. I actually was trying to come to an agreement because, and this is in Scrivo's own words, I'm hoping we can have an open and amicable discussion here. I agree, actually. Like, I think that's right, and I would like to come to a conclusion. And that's another thing. These conditions is not a solution because I hate some of these conditions. And honestly, I think all these conditions, it's a little silly. I think putting my own matches in the system, yeah, that's fine. Doing all the race scheduling via my Discord channel, which would be Group E Blind, that seems okay. Maybe my Discord channel is my Link to Past Discord channel. Maybe it's that. I'm not really sure. Honestly, I don't really know. I don't think that's a huge problem. Checking in with Greenham and Scrivo, not really my thing. And honestly, I don't see why checking in an hour would mean or do anything. It seems like a pretty weak attempt to control me and lock me down. But yeah, right here I say we don't need these rules. It's dumb. It's a simple, small error. It's not a big deal. Guys, you have to, again, realize this is the first seed versus the last seed in the whole tournament. Round 1 pools for 3 weeks. 3 weeks before the deadline. And we made a scheduling error, PST, EST, very plain, very clear. This is what happened, right? It's not a big deal. And I said, why not second time around? Like, if I make this error again, I think that I should be punished. I think I should be punished if I make the error again. I think that's reasonable. I think that makes sense. Or I should have these conditions applied to me if I go second time around. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? Why the first time? Why is the first time a problem? Why not the second time? Like, why the first time? No response. I will await your decision. Again, this is not an open discussion. This is straight up deceit. This is complete deceit right here. And then, yeah, I started asking a bunch of questions because he's not responding to me. Like, what are your thoughts? What are your... I still don't know what his thoughts on this are. Does he trust me? Am I not trustworthy? Where is Air from? That's another thing. Like, why are these only applied to me? Where is Airfriend in this discussion channel? Where is Airfriend's opinion on any of this? Like, has anybody talked to or contacted this guy? And then, yeah, it looks like I'm being extorted. I said it looks like I'm being extorted here. I didn't appreciate that. Again, no response. And then I said, yeah, I think we should come to an agreement. I think there should be an agreement. And these rules, they don't make sense. They're unfair. They're unnecessary. That's another problem. Applying these unnecessary rules to me, it's not a solution, right? I'm not happy. It's not going to work. It's too extreme. What if I accidentally break one of these rules because, I don't know, El Minister goes ahead and makes the race because I'm just hanging out with El Minister. He goes ahead and makes the race, and now I broke the rule. Like, what exactly is going on here? That's why I think it's completely unnecessary to have all these imposed rules. And it seems very clear this is the problem I'm having with this tournament. Scrivo and Greenham do not care about the quality of their tournament. They do not care about the livelihood or the health of their tournament. They care about lording over me, and you can see it very clearly. Why do I need to come an hour early? You don't. I just said to check in with one of us, to be more specific, if you wish. The day of your race, at least an hour prior, Greenham or at Greenham or I to acknowledge that you're still available to your race. So this is what they want me to basically bow to their whim 24/7. They basically want me to completely suck up to them and talk to them. I don't like these people. I blocked them on Twitter. Actually, I never blocked Greenham because I never thought Greenham was splicing runs. I never thought he was complicit in splicing runs. I wouldn't put it past him. He's friends with Scrivo. That's a bad deal. I wouldn't put it past him. I never blocked him on Twitter. Scrivo, on the other hand, I go out of my way to not interact with this guy. I've seen very bad things out of this person multiple times, a several-year period. I've never seen him be honest. I've never seen him be honest in my life. And then again, Scrivo says, I'm done discussing. This is not a good discussion. And actually, again, this is the problem where Scrivo has absolutely no interest in actually coming to a real rational solution, a real conclusion, where I'm actually open to talking about this. I actually am open to having some extra rules applied. And actually, guys, because of this, I have my own rule. I'm putting my own rule down. If I ever miss any race for any reason, I don't care. From this moment on, I'm going to forfeit the race. No questions asked. I don't care. I think that's reasonable because I messed up. Admittedly, I messed up. I do take blame in what happened. I think that's fine. Fortunately, it's not a big deal, but you know what? I like to hold myself to a high standard of quality, so I'm actually taking that upon myself. But that's real solution, right? That's being human. This is not human. Completely shutting down the discussion. There's no discussion here. There's no solution here. Here's the thing. Why do I like to be hard on myself so much about a league to pass in this tournament? Because it doesn't matter, guys. If I don't race in this tournament, if I lose, because here's the thing: if I take a loss against Aerofram, I'm basically out of the tournament. If that happens, I guess it sucks. It doesn't really suck for me because all of my stats are doing really good. I feel great all the time. I don't really have problems. Tournament is not really doing anything for me. I don't get any views out of it. Maybe I'll make a little bit of money out of it. Not really. I mean, realistically, it's not relevant. If I'm not in the tournament, though, what is that going to do? It's going to hurt a lot of the other top runners in the tournament. It's going to make them feel worse. It's going to make the tournament feel less legitimate. It's going to make a lot of the viewers upset. It's going to make a lot of the viewers less inclined to watch, and especially a lot of my very large, very aggressive audience. They're like, this is stupid, and that's another problem. Is it's like Scrivo, who's an administrator, he runs the tournament. He doesn't really seem to care about his tournament here. He doesn't really seem to care about his tournament. He seems to care more about having power over me. He wants to have power over me. He doesn't really want the tournament to run smoothly, and you can see that very clearly in the whole discussion where he'll ask a question and I say, why are you asking this question? Or can we just talk about the real issue? And he says, answer the question. Or he says, I'm done talking. It's this or you lose. That's it, right? I mean, it's stuff like that where it's like, wait a minute. I mean, we're both adults here. Can't we have a real discussion? Like what you even said, let's have an open discussion, completely shuts it down. And again, you see Scrivo say, these are the conditions set forth. How much time do you need to decide? And then I say, this is funny. I really don't think you have an interest in actually solving this problem. I, on the other hand, am a busy person, do have an interest. If you want to talk, I'm down. I have things to do, which is actually entirely true. And then Scrivo, this is, again, problem with this guy who's a manipulator. He ignores what I say and say, midnight Friday, is that sufficient for my decision? I mean, come on, let's be real. This guy has literally zero interest in anything reasonable here. And I say again, you're not solving anything with politics. This isn't a solution. Nobody is benefiting from this. There's zero people, guys. There's no money in this tournament. It's a for fun tournament for a speedrun video game that came out 26 years ago. There's no money. There's no reason to be political here. If you can find a solution, problem solved. If you want to be political like Scrivo, nothing's solved. There's no solution. He's hurt. He actually hurts himself. He's hurting himself doing this. It doesn't hurt me, guys. I think being in the tournament is hurting me. I think being in this tournament is hurting me. It's taking away from me making real content. It's taken away from me doing what I want to do. My schedule's tightened up a little bit. It's a lot worse for me. The only reason I'm in a tournament is because I like Link to Pass a lot. And I want to do it for my audience. I want my audience to see me win the tournament. I think that'd be really incredible. And every match is going to be free. So I think that'd be really incredible. That's why I'm in the tournament. Scrivo doesn't really seem to care about that. He seems to care more about politics. Again, here you go. This is the solution. Scrivo says this is the solution. There will be no other offer. It's not a solution. How is that a solution? Let's think really critically. I don't think that makes any sense. I think it's completely unnecessary. I don't want to do it, and I don't like them, and I especially don't want to do it. How is it a solution? How is that solving anything? How is anybody happy? How is anybody in the whole tournament related viewer, even casual viewers, the YouTube viewers, how does this help them? Where exactly does this help them in any metric? I don't see how this is a solution, right? And then there's no other offered. This is not, and you guys might think that he's in power here because he has this crazy title of admin. Who's really in power here? Because this guy doesn't sound like he has any power in his life. This guy sounds like he talks to his children like this, and he talks to his wife like this, because they don't listen to him. Because nobody listens to him because he's kind of insane. He sounds like he has absolutely no power at all. And when you get into the real world, Scrivo, you can't just say stupid shit like this. Nobody cares about your opinion. You're garbage at the game. You're killing your own tournament. I have no clue why. And you're a terrible person, frankly. But yeah, guys, that's the conversation I had with Scrivo, who is one of the worst people I've ever met in my life. And guys, if you want to know a story about Scrivo, so yeah, the first time I ever met Scrivo, I watch a lot of new runners in Link to the Past. It's actually not because I go find new runners to watch. No, I just watch anybody that's playing Link to the Past. So sometimes nobody's playing Link to the Past, and I'll just go find some random noob who has like 1 viewer or 0 viewers. So I end up watching a lot of noobs, and Scrivo was one of these people in early 2016. Or maybe it was in late 2015, I'm not sure. I think it was in early 2016. I go into his channel, nobody's in there, and he's playing the game, and I'm like, all right, great, you know, another runner, that's incredible. And then one time on his stream, his baby child was like screaming and crying, and he was supposed to be watching the kid. And it's screaming, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this. It's a little awkward, it's uncomfortable, whatever, I don't really care. But it just kept going on and on and on. And then eventually I think she was sick. I think she was sick and pregnant. And she's like, she has to go deal with the kid, right? She has to go deal with the screaming baby. And she was trying to get him to do it. But he was like saying, no, I'm busy or something. And then so he basically gets her to go deal with the child, and I'm like, she's sick, but she's pregnant. That's really fucked up. It's really fucked up because he's playing a fucking old video game. This is what he's playing, and he had like a 2-hour time, so he's trying to get like a 2-hour PB, and he doesn't want to interrupt his run, right? He doesn't want to stop in the middle of his run and go deal with this child, and so he has his sick wife do it instead because he's trying to play an old video game, and he wasn't playing on a card, he was playing on an emulator back then. I think that was the first real interaction I had with Scrivo, and here's the thing, I was the only viewer in his stream, and guess what? Everybody who streams, they look at the viewer list, and he knows I was in the viewer list, and I'm pretty sure he resents me because I actually witnessed that, and it was a horrible experience on my end because I never in my life wanted to witness a grown adult doing that, and then we get into this ridiculous conversation. Scrivo right here says, I want to start with the idea that I don't want me in the tournament. He obviously doesn't want me in the tournament. They've tried to DQ me 3 times before this. If I take the loss here, I'm out of the tournament. I'm basically out of the tournament. I need a miracle to get it through because of tiebreakers. So, no, this is actually a lie. If you wanted me in the tournament, you would be a reasonable human being for once in your life. It's messages like this that make me think this person has control issues on a serious scale. And if what I've seen with this person, I think this person has very serious issues in his personal life. And I think his family are the real victims of what's going on here. Because for me, who cares? I don't care at all. I blocked this guy everywhere. Blocked him on Twitter. I blocked him on Twitch. I actually blocked him on Discord before this. I had to unblock him. This guy, he's a terrible person. I'm not really affected of it. If I'm ejected from the tournament for whatever reason, not a big deal. It doesn't really affect me. It's not a big deal. His tournament is worse, just flat out. But gamers, my plan with this tournament, because I actually still want to race in the tournament. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I think it'd be great for you guys. What my plan in this tournament is to reschedule with Airfram. I actually messaged Airfram, and Airfram said, yeah, it's fine. It's not a problem. We can reschedule. And so that's great. I'm going to reschedule the Airfram. We're going to finish our race, and then that actually means our pool is almost entirely finished. 3 weeks before the deadline, which is great. We are ahead of the game, and then we're gonna, no problems, no issues. It's all just gonna go forward, and I'm gonna flat out, I'm just ignoring Scrivo on this one because I don't think the guy has any interest in solving a real problem, a simple problem. I mean, this is unbelievably easy to fix, right? Now what that means is Scrivo might go on some insane power trip and just either ban me from the tournament or refuse to overturn my loss, which is insane because why is Aerofrem given a victory for it? I don't know. When it was mutually agreed on, it was a scheduling error, and we mutually agreed that we should reschedule. And also, this affects nobody. All right, this doesn't affect anybody. That's why I'm just gonna go ahead with it. But Scrivo might, for some reason, because he's crazy, try and remove or keep it as a loss. Which actually, what that means, this is my pool, and Elminister's 2-1, and I'm going to beat Elminister most likely on Friday because I race him on Friday, which means I'm going to be 2-1, and Elminister is going to be 2-1. Now Rezefos is 0-2, so he's basically out of the pool. But if Rezefos beats Aerofram, then Rezefos is going to be 1-2, and Aerofram is going to be 1-2, which means me and Elminister would go forward. And I don't know if this is true, but I was heard that if you miss a match in pools, what they do is they just give you an arbitrary time that's very long, and then they use tiebreakers, which means I would actually be second seed in this pool, not first seed, even though I beat Elminister because of tiebreakers due to the very long time that they would get, like a 3-hour time. The game takes an hour and a half to finish. They give me a 3-hour time. Like, obviously, my tiebreakers, there's no way I can overcome that. So that's what I heard. But if Aerofram beats Rezefos, that means we would all be 2-1. But I would, again, have the worst tiebreakers by a long shot because of a 3-hour time that I know is a little silly, which means I actually won't progress in the tournament. So there's a chance I don't go forward in the tournament due to both Scrivo being, a problem person, but also a tiebreaker issue. So if that happens, it's not a big deal. And actually, I'm going to wish Aerofram and Elminister the best in this tournament if that does happen. If it doesn't happen, then I will go forward as either second seed because Rezefos won, or what will happen is me and Aerofram are just going to race again, and then it's not really an issue, problem solved, and then the tournament will be normal. But as far as I understand, this tournament, it's not run well. I mean, it's never run well. I think that was established. It's becoming a problem, and if I was out of the tournament at this point, come on, it would probably be a good thing. But gamers, I wanted to show you one more thing, and you might wonder, why do they tournament admins hate me so much? Why does Scrivo and Greenham, why do they hate me so much? Why do they continually keep trying to get me deleted or get me off the tournament? Well, I want to show you something that happened in the tournament, actually. So I was racing Resi, and let's just take a listen.
Skill level has trouble with Moldong from time to time. It just can be really tough. But WQ did really well there.
You're a winner! And you know what? You're changing your gameplay. You're changing your life. You are an alpha gamer. Welcome to the WQ family.
I'm a winner.
Well then. So now Parisian's fighting Moldorm. You'll start to see WQ work on his rupees with the tree poles here.
Skill.
Yeah, that's the whole clip, guys. Did you notice something? Did you notice something about that clip? Yeah, I had my alert play. So you're actually not supposed to play with alerts. My mistake. And actually, I'll show you why that was a mistake. So on OBS, if you don't disable alerts, so if somebody followed me right now, it would show up on my stream. So I'll disable the alert. If you don't disable alerts on every single scene, and I have 8 scenes, then if you switch scene, so if I switch to Amrec only, for example, there's no alerts on Amrec only, but if I switch scenes to Amarok only, and I didn't disable it right here, the audio will play. So I didn't know that. In fact, I don't think a lot of people knew that. Common mistake. Oops. It was my fault, and it does say clearly in the rules, if that happens a second time, you forfeit the match, which I'm like, okay, I think it's reasonable, actually. I apologize for that. It wasn't a big deal, but I wanted you guys to see that, because look at the reality of what's happening. First of all, look at the chat. Almost everybody in the chat, they're excited, they're happy. I mean, they're laughing. High A is going hype. You know, Lake Cactar, he actually subscribed to me right after that on Twitch, which I think is funny. You know, Tex thought it was great. The commentary traders were silent. They were completely silent. They had no response. Like, they just completely showed up, which I thought was pretty funny. This is a mistake, admittedly, you know, and I'm glad it happened in tournament. I mean, it happened in pools, because if it happens in pools, you know, it's not going to happen in the more important matches. It's actually the same thing as my PST, EST problem. It's like, I'm glad it happened in pools. Like, I'm glad this happened in pools, because it means I'm not going to happen, like, later in the tournament. Like, that's a good thing. I think punishing me for it, and not punishing Airframe for it, is like, it's really just biased. But yeah, this is the reason these people don't like me, is because I have this huge, active, aggressive audience. Shoutouts to Logan P Speedruns, who actually resubscribed me on Twitch and triggered that alert. Shoutouts, you're an alpha gamer. This is the real reason they don't like me. It's because this is a positive thing. I mean, who did this problematic? Well, who is this problematic for? Who did this hurt? Where is the issue here? I don't really see a lot of people in the chat that are triggered or offended or upset. I mean, the alert's pretty, like, tame. It's pretty reasonable. It's fun. It's a fun alert. So why is this a problem? I don't see how this is a problem. But no, they don't like me because people actually do like me. I do have a real audience. I make a lot of money. That guy subscribed to me. 2 other people went to my channel and subscribed to me right after. That's the real reason they don't like me. So when I do positive, real big things out here, like stream, playing like the past, winning, you get these super beta gamers who have control issues, who have real problems in their personal life, real control issues, and they're offended, they're mad because Scrivo doesn't have any subs. It's like 1 sub. Guys, you know, no one knows who the sub is. Yeah, my audience is going ballistic 24/7, and they get jealous. Like, frankly, Scrivo, I think Scrivo is jealous. Like, straight up, I think Scrivo and Greenham, I think, are very jealous, and I think they handled it very wrong. I think they handled it so wrong that it could hurt their tournament. It could long term hurt their tournament. I don't think it's going to affect me, and I'm glad I found a real solution. I found a real solution on my own with Airframe, and I'm going to give a shout out to actually Feasel and Airframe, because I was a little frustrated, and I was talking to them, and it seemed like they were totally neutral. It seemed like they were totally partisan on the issue, and, you know, they're being totally reasonable human beings. So I'm going to give a shout out to both Feasel and Airframe. On the other hand, Scrivo, I think you need to get help, dude. I really do think you should either see a professional or you should do some real deep reflection, because the way your life is going is a train wreck. It's a complete train wreck, and it doesn't affect me. Like, it really doesn't affect me, fortunately. But I don't like seeing people, like, completely destroy their personal lives and then destroy their families. I've seen it happen a lot, and it seems like it's going to happen again. Anyway, gamers, thanks for watching my YouTube video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button right now, and you become an alpha gamer, real magnate in gameplay, somebody who puts gameplay at the highest level. And actually, guys, that's the whole reason I don't hang out with Scrivo. It's the whole reason I'm not obviously going to ignore these conditions, because I'm an alpha gamer, and what that means is I put gameplay and integrity at the highest level. And so if there's a big problem like this, then I'm going to be the bigger person here. And it also means I don't submit to the click. I'm not going to submit to the click. I've never in my life submitted to the click. The click oftentimes will have asked me before. They've tried to do this with me before, where they get they want me to give them power or give them control, give them leeway, and then they'll let me do something, and it's like, no. Reason, logic, arguments should be the reason that you do something, not me writing some check, not me signing some papers. It should be reason and arguments, right? That's what an alpha gamer means, really. Using gameplay, using reason, logic, arguments, using powerful alpha gamer stuff, and it also means subscribing to my YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I'll see you guys later, and have a good day.